Okay, so we're recording now, so we should start. Do you want me to open or no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but let me just ask, why do I always have to open? Because my name's
I don't
first?
like. Yeah, I mean,
You don't like talking. Okay, I picked the one guy on earth who doesn't like talking on a
I just
show
don't
that we
necessarily
talk
want
for an hour.
to. I just don't necessarily want to open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the pressure's on me now. Okay, now ready? Are you ready now? Because we're recording.
We can just start. We can. We're started, guys. We have started. Thank you.
Okay, so you just opened the show.
Yeah.
Now I can't open it. So I would like to welcome everyone. This is our show, and Ryan didn't open correctly, but we, as you can see, it's organic and we really don't plan, and I have no control over what he's going to edit. So I'm going to pretend like he didn't say, but since he's laughing, he probably will keep it in. But welcome all the 80 billion trillion viewers of our show. We would like you to hit subscribe next time you're on so we can prove it to our friends and family. And of course, like the show and subscribe.
Hit
How you doing, Ryan?
Thumbs up. I would like to say that I with edit I don't edit out much, but only weird glitches. I don't.
So me,
I don't want to take the time.
droning on and on.
Yeah, I don't want to take the time to cut out anything unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I only edit out unnecessary things because
it's like me choking on coffee.
Yes, I cut that.
Me
out.
adjusting my bra.
Yeah.
That.
And so, although
we haven't had enough episodes for that.
Although when you adjusting your top was pretty funny though. I probably would have kept it in.
Okay.
But we
don't have enough subscribers to earn that kind of money yet. So
nope. Yeah.
So tonight is Mother's Day Eve, and because we're not a syndicated show that has a moving story, and you're going to see this after Mother's Day Eve, I wanted to talk about mothers for a second.
All right.
Can we talk about mothers?
Sure.
Of course, we have to start by saying hi to Ryan's mom because she loves the show. So that's a good thing. And hi to my mother, who isn't with us on the physical earth, but believe me, I'm sure there's YouTube up in heaven and she's watching it. Or I guess if she's an energy, she wouldn't really have to have YouTube. She could just be here in the same room. Yeah. Which now I'm going to have to sit up straight. The minute I said that, I'm going to have to sit up straight. My mother always said I slouched and I just sit up straight. So maybe I don't want to talk about mothers, but it's funny. It's funny when you met your mothers. I know. And then the same thing is like Rita. I said, Mom, I'm tall. Everyone makes fun of me for being tall. I remember being 12 saying that. So you just try to make yourself shorter because everyone, when you're 12 and you're, 5'11", you are like, it's freakish tall.
Well, yeah, you would have been taller than me at 12.
Yeah. So,
we're the same height now, because I'm 5'10". So
yeah, and so that if you have, I remember by the time I was 12, I was this tall, and my feet were big because I was tall, big compared to, and this is in my town. There's a shoe store, and so every year at school time, you'd go to the shoe store, and every kid they'd get the fall shoes, right? The Buster Browns or whatever they were. I won't say his name because he's probably not alive because he was older then when I was, 12. And here I am, this kind of shy at the time, I didn't really get a big personality or become more extroverted until I was about 15. So 12 was not a good time to be funny. So he said to my mom, he's like, well, Peggy, he said, it'd be better for me just to get some shoestrings and tie it around one of these shoe boxes. The easier choice for shoes. When he measured my feet, they used to measure your feet. Trauma, because it's like good, because at 12 you have all the certainty and confidence in yourself, right? At 12, you've already been, called names just because it is, again, by the time in high school, I blended in with everybody, but those, 6th, 7th grade was a little bit, not anything that I was, kids really weren't making that fun of me, but everyone talked about it. And usually at that time,
did everyone
12,
ask if you played basketball?
Yes, and I did.
Because every time, like dudes that are like
Right,
6'1" or
right,
like above, they're like, "Oh, did you play basketball?" Like,
right.
and taller women,
Yeah,
it's
because it's
funny.
natural, right? So it's so right. So the junior high girls basketball team, just
Yeah.
natural, right? Because the coach would say, because the coach usually was a PE teacher,
Oh, especially in junior high
right?
because you were
Right. So is that right? The thing that basketball is really hard to play, just physical compared to what? What?
you were like, basketball is hard to play.
No, the thing is that right. So what? Girls had softball,
Yeah.
right? You had
No, I mean, of
right. You had
course.
softball. The thing is that I mean, but that's the thing is you don't realize it until you're
Yeah. Yeah.
moving constantly. So it's like hockey and at least football. You have a little bit of a break in between. Trying to beat each other up, but basketball you never stop moving, and it's like once you get conditioned to it, you can play. But that's the big thing because it's like I said, it's like they didn't have a lot. Well, volleyball. So even volleyball wasn't as physical as basketball. I can't
Right.
because
With
I
the
think in terms of
cardio.
sport,
Soccer.
exactly. Soccer, hockey, basketball, continual playing.
Yeah. You don't stop
Yeah.
running.
No, and that's really interesting. That's why I can't wait to interview like a professional. I probably could do it with Ant because he's been in basketball for so long.
Right.
But there's got to be something because if you ever like, especially watching hockey, I do like to watch hockey. I mean, of course, it's years of practice, but it's like that mind over your physical body. Because at some point, these guys are making such fast moves, and the same thing with basketball. They're making such fast moves. You're going in so many different directions. So it's like you're not thinking anymore. Your body's just moving with the energy of it's just amazing because we know that the way our brain works is that um I want to lift my hand up, I'm going to write something, and your body has your brain is sending signals to say Rita wants to write something now, and she grabs a pen. Well, we don't think that out loud, but our brain has to send those signals for our hand to move. And yet when you
I have to.
yeah you're silly, but think of it. But I think that when you watch um just watch hockey, now we're going to do it, and then you're going to do it on blades and at high speed.
I
and
can't
and
stop on ice
yeah,
skates.
yeah,
Like I can skate, but I can't stop.
you got to break
Uh,
into the wall.
yeah.
Yeah,
Or slow down and grab onto somebody.
right.
Which isn't always safe.
But don't you think though, like what I mean, so that's like in sports. So like the elite athletes, or even there is something about someone who's it's coordination, and yet to just continuing just that movement, and then making the shot. And then but you have to be thinking too, because you've got to be thinking that plays, and that's what you hear when you hear the breakdown with all different sports, and they know it like the back of their hand.
Yeah.
It's that well, we took, and I don't know all the terms for sports, and it's like, well, in the turn we did this and we did that, and I saw them over there, but they're seeing things in split second, and it's almost as if how much of it is a little bit of energy magic there.
Yeah.
you know
It's no, it's interesting. Like the only professional sports I really watch are like be like MMA stuff. Like I'll tune into
Yikes.
UFC. And there's no, I mean you can see like when you're watching you can see the strategies going on.
Strategies, but they're beating the crap out of each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
And it's intense. The gotta have good cardio. Like to
Good
make it
cardio
through
and good pain
to make it
tolerance.
through those rounds.
Right.
Um that's why with with the Tyson boxing match
Right.
that was recently
Right.
why they there was I don't remember but the rounds I think were a little bit shorter
Yeah. And
than
that's
normal.
what's so
Yeah,
interesting, that the
where
human
if they'd have
dynamic. I'm
been
gonna. Yeah.
normal rounds, then it takes more energy to go out those rounds. So like
Right.
with boxing and stuff like that.
Yeah. 12 rounds. I think
So
they're 2-minute or 3-minute rounds, and that's
yeah,
12 rounds per. Like,
3-minute. I think they're normally 5-minute rounds, maybe. I don't know.
oh,
Anyway,
so,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't know
Yeah,
off the top of my head, so I'm not, and I don't
right.
feel like Googling it right now.
No, but the difference is, yeah, and that's boxing to me is not only strategy, it's stamina.
Yeah.
How do you get hit that many times?
How do you not get hit?
Right. And then all those things of,
That's kind
yeah.
of is not getting hit. Is
But the thing that is, it's just kind of like it's a human nature thing going back. We love watching people get beat up, right? Because there's a huge, and I'm not saying,
not
I'm
get
saying
beat
that
up,
as a sport,
but fight, like competing
a fight,
physically. Yeah,
right?
we like
Competing
watching
physically,
people compete physically. Like, I mean,
right? But
it's
they're beating each other up
yeah.
because just because they have gloves on, you see the
Football and
blood and the
football, basketball,
right.
soccer, like all of that
It's a
are like
very it's a
it's a
very
very
physical,
tame
right?
version of
Right.
fighting and
And it's
war.
competition, right? So that goes to,
Competition,
it's a competition,
conflict and
right?
resolution. Like
So
there's a
I wonder sometimes if that's part of our discourse and dialogue and what we see on media, because
I
it's
think
like yeah,
we've gone too long without conflict, and I think that's kind of what's going on.
yeah,
People are just making shit up to be angry about because
right,
we don't have anything to actually focus those energies on,
right,
or like if we either have something to focus those energies on or learn how
right,
to focus your energy into something positive,
right.
and so
Yeah, and
it's
that's, I read an article, gosh, a few months ago about that, saying after World War II, then after 9/11, that's a long time to not band together as a country, but it could be part of human nature. Um, we need to
wait,
be
9/11, that was 2001,
yes,
right? Wow, so that was 20 years ago.
right, exactly.
Wow, so it's been, I mean, and COVID didn't bring anybody together.
Right. But
Like, I mean,
right, but
it kind of did,
right.
but
The
it's
kind of right. The thing is that depending on the history that you read, and I think 9/11 will be the last one because it uncovered a lot of bad stuff about wars and how they're started and
yeah.
who's negotiating them. Is saw a little bit of it in the 60s with the Vietnam War, right? And and people going, wait a second, because the more intelligent and the more access to information we have as a people, the more we're like, wait, something's up in Dodge here.
Yeah,
Because it's a
I like the music started getting real good in the 60s and stuff, and then so I'm kind of hoping there's about ready to be an uptick in art and people appreciating good art.
let's
And
hope, because I
yeah, let's
saw
hope. I want to
yeah,
make some money off my art.
right. Well, I saw there's a great show on Netflix. Martin Scorsese is interviewing Fran Lebowitz,
Okay.
and she is talking about how like the city of New York has changed, and art has changed, and the art form, and it's changed since the 80s, that everything is just so commercialized, and so it's just really interesting. And it's like, that's true, is that, and that leads me to something else I wanted to talk about, and you mentioned music, and it's a nice segue into that. Is I study music from the point of view of, have you heard of Bare Naked Ladies, the
Yes.
Canadian band, right? They have a great song called "It's All Been Done Before." Now, it's about it, well, it doesn't matter what it's about, but the term "it's all been done before," I kind of look at music, contemporary music, like that, because there's a lot of music people don't even realize that are connected to the classics, but people don't know that if they don't do music theory or if they don't study it. And so I think there's some really famous songs people don't realize there's some bridges in
Yeah. I mean,
Brahms and Handel and different classic
and there
yeah,
are really only a certain, like there are
so many chords,
so many chords and so
right,
many notes that you can put together in
right,
so many different tempos and
and
so
our
many
ears,
different
right,
key
right,
signatures.
right,
Like, yes, there are gazillions of combinations of it, but there is an end to those. There are chords and things that don't sound right together. Like,
Right.
you know,
See,
um,
that's what I mean. So once you look at music theory and you can go through the dissonant chords and
yeah,
all this
it's
terminology too, there's only so many B flats and so many D flats and,
it's.
you
I mean,
know,
it's in a way, it's a form of mathematics.
right. Well,
Like,
yeah,
it like being fairly musically adept kind of helped me coast through a lot of algebra and calculus
right.
and
And
stuff like
yet, yeah, there's some really great videos.
it's
I'm sorry
because
for
you're
interrupting.
with
Yeah,
music you're always trying to like I feel like with writing you're always kind of trying to solve for X musically.
right.
You're like,
Hmm.
I like this rhythm. Like, what else? You know, when you're building instruments and sounds on with it,
Right,
it's like, what else will sound good with this? How much
right.
is too much? You know, where do you add more? Where do you take away? And then that's where vocals, which you know I like writing lyrics, that is where that comes in, where you get to
Right.
actually add a certain perspective and point of view.
What's so interesting though is what I hope is there's a resurgence in what we would call underground bands
Hmm.
that aren't commercial
Yeah, that
because
would be
there's
nice.
such an artistry there. And the reason is that once things start making money at a certain scale, they become commercialized and um, because that's all the idea is to make money. And if people will buy it, if they'll click on it, whichever. So you see so much in the last 20 years of music just being overproduced and maybe, yeah, turned into pop, but also TV and movies. Everything's a rerun of something, a remake
Yeah,
of something, a remake.
it.
We're going to do it this way and twist it. So so I'm not saying that there's creative. It's that no one's going to take the risk, I suppose, at what it costs to make a movie. And now that the movie industry owns most of independent films, there's this thing is that, but it's just like I really listen and I look for because I'll see things going, oh, they're doing a riff on a blues song. They don't even realize they couldn't. They
Mhm.
don't even realize that
Yeah,
that's 8 bars in a blues song. But people but that's the interesting thing is where does that lead music if we're taking from the classics. The classics are melded in. This is, going over 200 years. Classics are melded in more contemporary. We have gospel, we've got blues, we've got jazz, we've got rock and roll, and so we've lived through all those eras of this was new then. And
hmm,
now, when did that stop? Did it stop with disco? Because that becomes synthetic music, right? And then we
right.
had a resurgence of creativity with rap. That was new.
Hmm.
So what's the next new thing?
Well, I mean, and at the same time, there was like the new wave and the
Right.
you know
Oh yeah, new wave and yep,
post punk, the a lot of
grunge.
those British bands.
Yeah, but do you think that there was was that new or was that just kind of a alternative to that?
Well, a lot of it was just new technologies being
Yeah.
introduced
Mhm.
into music. Like there
Right.
were like bands like Depeche Mode and The
Right. Right.
Cure and like In
Berlin.
Excess. They
Right.
were all used. There were all these new synthesizers and things coming out, and so it's
Right.
just kind of rock people utilizing all those different sounds. You
Right.
know, kind of same way hip hop was doing a lot of
So
the
that's so hip hop really came in to be the mid 80s to the mid 90s. That was like a really strong 10-year span, wouldn't you say?
The you're talking about the 'cause I mean it
Hip
started kind of in the late 70s, early 80s like with rappers
underground
like
though.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And
And
so that's
then
what I'm kind of saying is that they'll say locally, because the underground was a pretty big business, but until
mhm,
they went like national,
right.
worldwide, I would say mid 80s to mid 90s, where it was like at its peak. That's just me and I'd have to ask Jonesy because he knows the biz like crazy.
Mhm.
Then so then what was the music of the 2000? The first 10 years in 2000.
Um I'm trying to
And then
think
what
what I
was the
was I'm trying to
2010? Yeah, no, right.
think what I was
2010,
listening
yeah,
to.
2010 to 2020.
I mean in the early 2000s, I mean I was listening to a lot of DMX uh
So rap just kind of
Yeah,
carried on.
yeah, like, cause I was still listening to like Wu-Tang, like
Right.
they
I'm
had
gonna look
stuff
at yeah, I'm gonna look at that
like
because that's they do those shows about the music of the 80s, music of the 90s. Is
yeah.
there a sound in the
I mean, and
2000s?
there was a lot of stuff, but I didn't really necessarily like what was going on in the
Right.
mainstream.
I know like John
And
Mayer was big pop. Remember John Mayer? Hmm.
around then I really started getting into Christian music.
Hmm.
Like in 2002-ish.
Hmm.
I was really into
Kirk Franklin.
no, no, no. I
He's got Christian music. That's all he
no,
does.
he is, but
Yes.
I wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
into Kirk Franklin. Um I was listening to a lot of like underground, I guess, kind of
Yeah.
boom bap hip hop artists like LA
Yeah.
Symphony,
Hmm.
um trying to think some of those Deep Space 5, Mars Ill, some it's so, like KJ52, uh some of the older Christian hip hop stuff.
I got to do a quick plug since
Yep.
you said you're going to be off tomorrow. Jonesy interviewed McBravado, rapper
Oh,
extraordinaire.
did it just go live?
It just went
Yeah,
live
yeah, okay.
today.
Yeah, I need to check. I've been meaning to
Yeah,
check that out. I'm behind on a few podcasts.
such a great podcast. But talking about the journey of the hard journey of producing, traveling, performing, and contracts, and what you think you signed, and then what you ended up working for 3 months without getting paid, and and hustle, right? It's like,
I got ripped off for a lot of money.
so can you imagine? I mean,
Like,
so
yeah.
yeah, I bet
So
you'll be able to
it
identify it.
yeah, it's oh man, that dude that I'd probably fight him if I ever saw him. Like
Yeah.
I would probably actually fight him.
And that's the tough part.
It's
Yeah. And that's always going to be in the entertainment business, right?
yeah.
That measure of people who are desperate to perform and want to make a living at it. And when
Yeah.
you say, I'll work hard, I'll work hard, I'll work hard, I'll work at my craft, I'll get better and better and better. There's always those
If you don't
people
see
who,
the
the
sucker at the
predators.
table, then it might be
Right.
you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's
Oh
the
man,
predatory behavior
yeah,
of
I
saying we
was
got
that
this,
sucker.
right. And then now, right. So, and I would say people on their way up are prime candidates for it.
Yeah.
Prime candidates for it. And then some people can, deal with it. Some people can't, or you just go broke.
Yeah, it was it like I eventually stopped for a while.
Yeah.
But
But not kidding. I mean that because it's like, especially with promoters and venues, and everybody wants to make money. And then all of a sudden going, well, you got me here. I brought my audience with me. They bought a lot of drinks, and you're giving me $20 for 5 hours of work.
yeah.
It's like, oh, you didn't meet the tab. That's not the deal we had. That's the deal we had because I get to make the rules, right? And that's really unfortunate. But nobody,
Yeah.
and maybe it'll get better with the networking. But that's what I'm kind of hoping for, is that we're going to get a resurgence of creativity.
Right.
And people may still, because we're so influenced by music from the pretty much birth, people maybe they're influenced by how they grow up and their environment with it, but so influenced by it that somebody may sit down and continue to write songs that just don't sound like songs that we've heard for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
because music is meant to move us, and music is a communication. I'm just very passionate about it.
I have a bunch of like stuff that I've been picking away at, like, so I will eventually have a whole bunch of music out.
That's awesome.
Like, actually, yeah, I was going over some stuff before we recorded today while I was, because I got off work early. And so
maybe it's a thing, because that friend told me years ago.
I have the music done for this album, and most of the lyrics are written, and I just need to start recording it and kind of going through what I want and don't want, and then. Right. And so, yeah, I was just kind of doing a checklist and working on some stuff before we recorded. I've been really kind of feeling music lately.
Awesome. Yeah, and let's hope, because what I'm learning, and just by these interviews with Jonesy, talking to just all the different musicians, there's a whole world that people don't know, because a lot of times we just get the end product, right?
Yeah.
We can download it. There's an album, pretend if you're old, there's a CD, but there's a concert to go to. But you see when the work is finally, at its, it's realized, it's at its peak where they can sell tickets. But to see but to have, or to see how hard, just the process of how hard it works, how hard it is to write songs.
Yeah. And if you
music.
actually give a damn about what you're creating.
And then think of the other thing too is, how hard is it to write a song and not be influenced by your universe?
Oh, right? There's no way. There's no way. Every single one of my, and that's actually where where the kind of, for me, kind of the key is. Like, because when you realize that everything around you has an influence on everything that you make, so there is no way to avoid replicating something else.
Right.
So the best hope you have is to respect the homage of the thing that inspired what you were doing.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons why I was so drawn to like hip hop and like sampling and like the art of sampling and stuff. Even though I play instruments, I still enjoy that spirit, and so
but that's a good way to put it, because there's a great musician who breaks down certain songs, and he'll do a whole segment on artists tipping their hat to a song they really liked, and they'll put put a bar in, and he's like, this is from that, and he'll play it, and it's really just a compliment, like you said, pay a homage to say, I love that bar so much, I put it in.
And so it's like something's gonna kind of sound like, I mean, and it's not just music. It's
but it's not
all,
the entire
all kinds of
song,
art, like cartoons and comics, like the comic that I have, Johnny No Pants. It was influenced by other things that I was into at the creation of it,
right?
And it like it's gonna be like, and the best you can do is try to create something new,
right?
Out of
right, because how many Stan Lees can there be?
Right.
Right.
And it's
because that's a genre. I mean, it's like, so like, because that was who does that? And oh my gosh, what is that?
Well, Jack Kirby, he
started it.
Jack the King Kirby.
Or
they're like probably two of the most important people like at it.
For the history of comics. Yeah. So that's what's going to be interesting. That's why I am hopeful. And that's what's been really fun about just being able to do things like this and meet other artists, because there's some really good stuff that we don't know about. And so I'm optimistic that that's going to, and maybe it'll stay underground and that'll be just fine, because there are so many artists that make a good living, just make a good living playing clubs, distributing, or uploading on, the MP3s.
It's easier if you can play cover songs and like playing cover songs to get
right,
like
to get people to dance
get bar gigs.
Right.
I envy people that are good at playing other people's songs.
Right.
My attention span for it was like I would always learn a half of a song and then go write my own. Like, it was like writing music was always just more fun for me.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a really good point, because it's a business. So for a bar, they want to have dancing, and they want to bring young people
covers
in. Right.
Are always going to have some kind of like, and it's not always bad money. Like it.
No, but it's bad. Yeah, because I did that when I was a kid. I'm 17 and 18, sang in a cover band, because it was a big thing to have. Like the Pat Benatar, the Patti Smith.
Oh yeah, nice.
Right, and so, but then we're ladies are a dime a dozen, because then it would really happen in I did it for 6 months, and then the lead guy in the band, the girlfriend he was dating, she wanted to sing, and then So I got kicked out for her.
Nepotism.
Yes. But blonde haired, blue eyes, and tight dresses. And she couldn't sing that well, but it didn't matter because then that just brought in more guys. and it it didn't change the income, the band.
Right.
But it was just funny because play band, it's like, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Oh God, you guys are fabulous. You're fabulous. You're, with the setup and the breakdown, you're there 6-7 hours because, and you're playing, and then you get handed $20, but you're 17. So it's like, this is so cool. Again, I always just loved to sing. I didn't want a career in it. So I just enjoyed it. And the other guys wanted to be. And so when I got cut, I just went, I'll go do something else. I'll go sing in a different band.
That's where being a rapper usually kind of comes in handy, because most of the time I played shows by myself.
Right.
So it was split one way. Unless like I would have a DJ. Yeah. I think I split. I hope I at least split. If not, I'm an asshole. So,
but the fun thing is that, right? So that's what's interesting about, sorry to interrupt, but about artistry, people who are compelled to do something, and it's people who enjoy it.
Well, in the Plain Ice interview where I interview the Quiet Entertainer, he and I started a hip hop group in college called Ill Gravy, and we're both like have been just compelled to keep making music, whether people listen to it or not. Like I stopped trying to succeed at it professionally and play shows, but I still write songs. I can't turn it off.
Right.
Like I can't.
But just people who
as much as I want to.
Right.
I can't.
So, but that's different than someone who's doing it for fame.
Right.
So, and maybe it just has to do with time and getting to a place in your life to say, that passed me by. That wasn't meant for me to do.
It was hard.
At that time. Yeah.
It was
I can imagine.
Hard to get, it was hard to mentally and emotionally process and get over that loss. And it's made writing songs now and working on music now a lot more fun than.
Oh, that's good.
Than the stuff that I would write while I was going through everything.
Because that's interesting because, most people you ask is that, do you know what you want to do when you're 18, 19, right, with your life? Yeah. And there are people who say, especially entertainers and artists will say, I've known since I was 5. I was on that trajectory to be a singer, a dancer, a songwriter, a musician, right? And then they get to be 20 and their whole life is built around it. Then 30, 40, they don't make it.
40.
So, right? So they don't make it. But then you always wonder to say, but people who just went, I'm not sure. And then that whole thing of, that joke about adults ask children what they want to be when they grow up because they don't really know. Adults don't know. But I think I wonder if it's more of a burden on somebody who knows what they want to with such certainty at such a young age, especially as an artist.
Yeah. And if I if I would just be like, okay, it would have just been like, okay, whatever, and reasonable and done the actual job and and family and everything. Like, I don't think I'd be any more happy than I am now.
Right.
Like
there
would be something eating at me. I would rather give 1,000% at it and just fail and keep going
I think
at it.
I think that's I'm trying to write some stuff on this. It's coming out in streams of consciousness little by little, but I think you and I talked about it too, is that not belonging to a tribe is kind of belonging to a tribe of people who don't belong to a tribe. We're unique, we're different. Jonesy calls us misfits. So we don't fit in anyone's box, and yet we connect because we don't fit in anyone's box. So we can see, it's like, maybe people who fit into boxes would think that I'm weird.
Yeah, we're like the tribe jumpers. We hop
and
in
so
and
that
out
just
of
go
these.
that because the fact that you can really talk to just about anybody, and everyone's welcome. So that's the tribe, and yet again, everybody who's in the not tribe doesn't agree with every single thing that everyone says, but you can definitely be best friends with them. You can be partners with them. You can, have them as children. But there is something about being different and unique, which when you're a kid, that's horrific, to live through, because you're the weird kid. You're the weird one. But is that as a grown up going, it's a looking back at that time of looking at the world differently and kind of not through the sameness kind of thing. Like, oh, I know, because I struggled feeling like I didn't belong in any group because I was kind of connected to every group.
Right.
But then I felt like I'm never really fully in their group, but I didn't have a group. And then as I got older, I realized, well, that's cool too, because I don't need a group. I need me to be certain and confident in me. Mm-hmm. And, and then not look to someone else for who I should be. That came older, not when I was a teenager, because you want to fit in. But that's kind of the angst of being a teen, to say, I want to fit in, but I know I'm different. And then I would have kind of this melancholy of I'm not in their circle. And that it would be a sadness. And then at my age now, I'm like, well, that's kind of cool, because I can walk in any circle, because I can just bring myself, and I'm not bringing this whole tribe mentality to it. And that's kind of, and that's so for some people, they totally don't get it. But that leads me into something I totally don't get. Can we segue into my next thing? Okay, so I'm at the store. Big, huge sign saying out of stock, rush, should be in tomorrow. And and what the big sign is announcing is that they've completely sold out. What?
The band rush will be in tomorrow?
No. They've run out of an item.
Oh.
And the item, and there's on the bottom, there's a picture of what it is. What they've run out of, and they're rushing to get more in, are the plastic cups that turn color when they get hot or cold. So these are plastic cups. They had a run. So, but those exist. So that made me go, huh. And I had to take a picture of it, because
it seems like,
because how many, like I've gone through, it's like, okay, is there any, oh my gosh, they're completely out of red onions. There was never a big sign that said we're rushing red onions, or we're out of, beefsteak tomatoes. We're rushing to get you guys these tomatoes. But the fact that they sold out of these cups and they're rushing, they had to make an announcement to say, there's such a demand on these cups, my God. So that, but then after that, I thought that was kind of funny. Then I thought,
you know what? They probably have they have a whole bunch of them in the back.
They're like creating demand.
Yeah, they're just creating a demand for it and interest, and people are like, wait, what are these cups about? These cups are all gone.
These are exactly what the cups do. Is you put some ice in a cup and it starts out green. Then you put a bunch of water in, so now the cup is cold, and the cup's going to change color. That is the extent.
Different color options?
Yes, it's a 3-pack.
Oh.
So one starts as green. I think one starts as orange. That's on the picture. And one starts as, I don't know.
Do you remember the hypercolor clothing?
No.
Back in the 80s?
No. Oh, yes.
Like hypercolor, you put it on. It was, as a kid, it was fun. You got your shirt change color.
Okay, so we go on the marketing part of saying create a demand, and people look at it. But what if they didn't? What if people said, I have to have that? That just cracked me up going, what?
I think there was probably...
Is it just whimsical and fun to say, I
think somebody was probably having a party, or there was a thing, or like a company was doing a thing.
And it could, right. If that happened and they said, we're going to buy every plastic color changing cup, and the store went, oh my God, we've had a rush on the cups. And then the cashier didn't say, by the way, we had 3 carts full from the same person.
Right.
Okay.
That is kind of what like
it's
you're going
not,
out for a church, like a church event or something.
Well, I mean,
like, how many of them do they have normally? Like, they couldn't.
I do not know. I did not know. I do not know.
In stock normally.
I've seen the mugs that you get. They get hot, and a picture of like a boat comes up. If it gets cold, your name comes up, kind of thing. So I've seen that.
Yeah.
and this is probably taking it to the next level, or is it again, or just on the
Recycling
theory
old
of people will
technology.
buy anything for $3.99. That's possible. And it's summertime, so big plastic cups, and it's fun and it's whimsical. It could be that. I just want to make sure that,
Somebody's having a Mother's Day party.
yeah. Well, we figured it all out. I just
We
thought
did.
that was funny. I just thought
We're detectives.
we're probably wrong. Well,
I know,
wrong.
but it's fun to speculate.
Okay, so all right. What I wrote this down because now I can't read it. Okay, what about our reviews? How are our reviews for all our 80 billion trillion watchers?
Everyone loves us. Everyone loves us.
Even the Matrix people?
Yes, they're all clamoring for more.
What types of testimonials are they giving, Ryan? What are they saying about how great we are?
They are saying that we are endlessly entertaining.
Name names.
And,
Name names. Is there one name?
I don't know.
You can tell your mom.
None more since last week. Since
have you uploaded one since our last 80 million reviews?
I uploaded the Mother's Day episode today because we talked about moms.
Has anyone watched it yet?
3 people, but I don't know if that's me clicking on it. Like, because I had to click on it a couple times.
I clicked on it. I clicked on it once, but I didn't watch it yet. I just clicked it and I went, my hair's not doing good. So I couldn't watch the rest of it.
You and your hair.
My hair.
Just put your hand up in front of you so you only have to see half the screen.
Can I just wear a hat?
Yeah, wear a hat if you want. I've almost worn a hat.
Really?
Yeah, I think I almost wore a hat like on the 2nd or 3rd episode.
I could wear a big, huge floppy hat and sunglasses and no one would know who I was.
They would know who you were.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
They would know it's Rita. Ba, ba, da, ba.
Yeah. They would know. Have I ever done that?
No.
But I do have a distinct voice, but I don't have a voice for radio. I know that. Because even my voice, when I listen to it, it's annoying. I guess I could train to go, hello and welcome to evening news. This is Rita. See, like it's not normal to say news.
Having a more professional microphone would help too.
So you're saying I'm not professional?
No, I'm saying like.
So professional's going to make my intonation, the way I speak and articulate, it's going to make it better. Hello.
Well, it does.
This is the 6 o'clock
for
news.
the tone. For the tone, it does help with the tone.
So you don't like my tone?
Jeez.
I could do this all night.
I know. I know.
So you don't like my tone? I need a microphone. I don't even know why I'm on the show.
I took right a hold of it, and oh man, you dug a hole, put some twigs and leaves over it, and
right.
put a little thing there, and I ran out and fell in the pit.
and not to say anything against men or anything, but
I took the bait.
You took the bait, and people,
and I knew it while it was happening, and I was just like, "You're digging, you're helping, buddy. You're
the thing is that right.
Pull the cord. Pull the cord."
And I think that I have such sympathy for men when it comes to dealing with women, because women are amazing creatures. We're just different.
Yeah.
Men are amazing creatures. They're just different. But there are certain points where, because this is how I see it, men will say, oh yeah, I handled that. And it's handled. It'll be for real. They'll like, yeah, I got an upset with my friend and da-da-da. Or here's my perfect example. Man comes home, says to his wife, well, I met with Rob today. I guess he and Susan are getting a divorce. So we talked a little bit, and I told him I'd stay in touch with him and wished him well. So the woman would say, what happened? How long were they married? What's going on? Did he have an affair? Did she have an affair? What about the kids?
You the whole
right?
Conversation.
Right. What about the children?
What's
going to happen to the children? That's what goes, wait, he just told me he's getting a divorce. And I said, I'm really sorry. That's really tough. But keep in touch. I'll be here if you need me. That's all we talked about. But it's like, how could you just do that? Right? Because women are like, oh, no, we need details. And so then in her head, she will make up the entire story. Him, he's like, for exactly what it is, going, that's a really upsetting thing. Because you know what? Guys don't care. It's like, you gave me the bottom line, which is, it's
like,
really sad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like, it sucks, but there's literally nothing you can actually do.
And I will say, for women, they want to be there to say, yes, I want to be your support system too. Please keep in touch with me. But prior to that, you have to tell me everything that happened. I don't need, that's just something. So that's sometimes where I just look at with men.
We don't need all the detail.
You don't need all the, exactly. We need details, and it's just what it is. It's not judgment on either side. The men will say, you know, the wife will say, it's like, hey, how do you feel about,
always important.
How do you feel about homemade macaroni and cheese? It's like, and he'll say, well, we just had it a couple of nights ago. He said, but I'm good with salad. Oh, this is what she'll say. Oh, so I'm making the same thing night after night. Like, no, you gave me and the guy would go, you gave me a choice. You gave me a choice. You said, how do you feel about it? You should have just said, we're having macaroni and cheese. And I would have gone, okay.
All right, cool.
Right.
Whatever.
So that thing, it's like, but it's like that whole women are from Venus, men are from Mars, or vice versa. That's so true. And that's why I feel like, but see, that detail part, and then women never forgetting anything, and men like going, oh, I have no idea. I don't keep track of that stuff. Because they don't have the details, because they don't care.
No, we got to fit other stuff into our brain.
Like right. And so that's so sometimes when it's like, I'll see a male friend of mine looking like a deer in headlights. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I just said, he'll just start saying something. I'm like, no, when she wants to engage, just go, And I said, but when you start explaining, she'll go all night. Because the minute, you know, the whole thing of like, honey, I don't have to know everything. Oh, now I'm saying you've got to tell me all your secrets. I mean, it just can go on and on. Again, it's just because it's this weird male-female thing, is that we believe that we're helping you by giving you details. You believe you're helping us by just handling what's really there and not stirring up a bunch of stuff because you know the guy's hurt. And the nice thing to do is to say, keep in touch. Everybody comes to the same conclusion. It's sad that people are breaking up, and we want to be there for them. Yeah, but the behind the scenes, play. That's why they're like, women, we just have to know. And why? It's just what it is. That's like, why? But it's like, but I do feel sorry because
I appreciate it. I find in a way, like I find it amusing, and so. And
but I can give as good as I can take, and there's sometimes where I just go like, ha ha ha, but then I can find myself right in that role of being the woman going, so you're not going to tell me anything? What, you're going to hide the whole world? Well, who are you? Kind of thing. So anyway, it's all fun. But okay, so we don't have 80 million reviews yet, but we're working on it.
No, we are working on it.
So, okay. So I think, because go ahead.
I was going to say, the episode just dropped today. So I sent out those links earlier on Twitter and Facebook.
Great. And the final thing for the night, I'm not sure what the time is. How are we doing on time?
49.
So we have 11 minutes.
We have.
And I was within 10 minutes last time, I think, or at least 10 minutes. So I'm doing good. Look, I don't even need a clock in front of me, Ryan.
Yay.
I could talk for hours though. So
me too. Me too. When you were like, I promise it won't take long. I was laughing. I was like, how do you know I'm not going to be the one dragging the fucking conversation on for hours?
Not only that is, all of a sudden I look at the phone and go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said it would be quick, and it's an hour and a half, and you just go, that is a short call for us. Right. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We'll talk some more.
It doesn't. Yeah. If I do have to go early, I'll But I was just like, go. How does she know I'm not going to keep her on the phone?
Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on what we talk.
I like to chat too.
I know, but this is the funny thing with Ryan. And if I'm going to share it before we talk about the final thing.
Uh-oh.
Ryan answers the phone like a serial killer.
Jeez.
So he's so funny and he's so nice. He's like, call the phone. He goes, hello. I'm like, Ryan, did I wake you up? No. This is Rita. I know. It's like, are you okay? I'm fine. And it takes like 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, I am super weird when I first get on the phone.
I know. I think it's so.
I think it's trauma from doing from doing customer service on the phone.
Oh right,
because I used to
it
manage
takes 3 minutes before he realized I'm not going to say.
Yeah,
I want to turn my sweater in. I want my money back.
Yeah, there was. I used to manage a customer service department, so yeah, everyone that talked to me was yelling at me.
Can you see on your phone that it's me though?
Yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Even though he knows it's me, we've set a time for me to call. I will probably call around 6ish, so he's got an idea. His phone rings, it's me, and he's like, hello.
Sometimes it takes
Reiner,
a minute to warm up.
Is this a good time? It's a great time. Okay, well, we just want to workshop and talk about the show. I've been thinking about it all day. I think it's a good idea. Like, who? See the guy laughing? This is not the guy. And I keep saying, are you not feeling well? I feel great. Are you tired? Did you just wake up? No, I just made pancakes. I'm like, who is this guy? So sorry. If you hear it, he's just fine. He just has to rev up on the call, right? Pretty much.
Sometimes it takes me a minute to get my engine going, but when I do, then I'm like,
yeah, like, right. Well, and that's the thing is that
it's ADHD stuff is
that what it is?
Yeah, I'll
so go like, how are you? It's like, I'm great.
And so once
you don't even sound like
so once I start, like, I'll, if I'm down at kind of a low point, and then sometimes, and then I'll get rev up and get going and zoom off.
So say, sometimes my call's like, Ryan, can you clip this for me? Ryan, can you just bend it for me? He's like, oh, I can do that. Mm-hmm. I can do this. I can do that. I was like, Ryan, I've got a great idea. Tell me that it's bad. He's like, no, I think it's a great idea. And then we talk on it for an hour. So it's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So that's Ryan's secret.
That I'm super weird on the phone sometimes.
No, that you answer the phone like a serial killer, which some people might not find weird. We're not going to do any serial killer shaming on our show.
Jeez. A little bit. You probably shouldn't do it.
I mean, that wouldn't be the target audience.
No.
But they probably like it.
But if you are, please don't come after me.
And we don't live in California.
At all.
At all. We've never been there in our lives.
We live in Wyoming.
God. Good luck. I know, right? Okay. That just quieted the room. All of a sudden realizing we have no idea of the 80 billion trillion people watching us who has a proclivity to killing people. So, but Ryan is not a serial killer. He just sounds like one.
Yes.
And again, no shame to those potential or current unresolved serial killers out there. Because your screen froze up in laughing. That was good. Okay, there you are. You're laughing so hard your screen froze. Okay. Final thing, so we don't run over an hour. Okay, cooking shows.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Because neither one of us are big. Both of us can cook, but we don't dream to cook, right?
Right.
And so, but I love watching cooking shows. And plug for Jianchor, Chef Jenny Fox and I are going to be creating a cooking show with a twist. I won't get into all the details, but I mentioned it here because I told Ryan he needs to help us. And I asked him first before I told him, but I asked him, we need some help because it's we're piloting it, but it's not just interviewing back and forth, but looking and Jenny and I are researching all these really cool things about different foods. And again, I'll share more of the details as it fleshes, we get all these ideas fleshed out. But people love food shows. And I love food shows. And the ones where they're cooking,
I've
one's
been
telling a
guilty of
story,
watching food shows every once in a while.
like binging on them, or they got the baking show. So I'm someone who doesn't. I cook as a utility. I can cook, but I don't take great pleasure in it, or I don't. I'm not that creative. Where I have to get
I
this
don't like
recipe.
doing dishes, so I avoid like. So that's my main
Right.
where I'm like, I just don't want to do all these dishes.
But
So I
most
just won't
everyone
cook.
knows at least one person in our life who loves to cook,
Mhm.
and who will say, I'm going to try a Thai recipe. I'm going to try making, homemade Italian sauce with homemade meatballs and real Italian sausage and something they haven't tried, or make a barbecue of some sort. And is it going to
Yeah.
be a rub? Is it going to be a vinegar base? Is it going to be sweet?
I used to
Is it,
get Hello Fresh, which this is kind of
yeah,
reminding me a lot of those meal options. Like there's
right.
a really good like kind of from scratch spaghetti recipe they got.
Yeah.
So it sounds so stuff like that is actually when I do it, it's kind of fun, but sometimes I don't
Yeah,
always
but
like
it's not.
cooking.
So my thing is that, um, when we were going over the different types of shows we could do, cooking was in that top group
Mhm.
that people love watching on YouTube, different cooking shows. Of course, there's cooking networks devoted to people in, whether it's home cooking or all different types of cooking. But the interesting part is how many people watch that don't actually cook, or just entertained by watching it. And my question for you, Ryan, is, do you think it's nostalgia, or is it just really interesting seeing things put together? And then it's kind of fun, the competition
Maybe I think some
shows.
of it's personalities.
Hmm, I
Like
see.
some of it's the personality. People like the personality of the chef, like
Mhm.
because I think people like Guy Fieri's personality. At least the celebrity chefs that you hear about.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Chef Gordon
yeah,
Ramsay. People like watching
yeah.
to see how he's going to react
Right.
and his personality. And so
Mhm.
it,
Combo.
yeah, like so it's kind of the personality combined with I guess some of the process
Mhm.
and food is something everyone needs.
Yeah.
It's like air and water. We have to have it.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. So, but here's the thing. My thought, and I mentioned nostalgia because, in my mother's day, there were dinner parties,
Mhm.
and you had people over for dinner, and you had guests for dinner, and you would make dinner, and it was a big deal to have a different type. You wouldn't serve Swiss steak or, quick spaghetti, as my mother would call it, versus sauce spaghetti. You would serve something, and usually she would make, you know, not a multi-course meal, but just something more fancy.
Mm.
And so, and the first thing when she learned how to use the computer, she was on Martha Stewart's recipe channel, printing all kinds of recipes. So, because she would make them and try these different things,
Mhm.
and she had a binder, and we cherish it because she's not with us anymore. But a binder of all these recipes that she just loved and she
Yeah.
used in her cookbook.
Nice.
So I think, though, I'm wondering, because it's not like that. People aren't um, um, as neighbor friendly, or as they don't congregate like they did 30 years ago. So um, and there's not a housewives thing like there was before, like on my mother's day when she was young, like housewives
Oh yeah.
entertained, right? So is that, I'm wondering if part of it's nostalgia, just to watch it, to go, because that's, I think for me, I watch it thinking that, oh, I remember that recipe, or something interesting. Because
Mhm.
I'm just asking out, out loud, because I don't know the answer myself, to think I can watch for an
And
hour,
kind
then
of
make, yeah,
educational to like
yeah,
whether you apply it or not, you still learn something.
yeah, maybe. Such a serial killer response.
What? Jesus. Uh,
It's like, oh, I'm talking nostalgia about home, and well, it's educational.
it
That's such a guy
well
thing too, but
the
it is
yeah,
true.
it is.
But it's
The
educational, but you're not writing it down. You're not sitting in for the recipe. You're just sitting watching it. That's kind of the
yeah.
comfort.
A little bit. Yeah, maybe.
So before we end the show, do you have any topics that we haven't? Well, you haven't brought up any topics, so just
No,
for the
no.
record.
I'm waiting for several episodes, for a few episodes in, to just be like, guess what, Rita? I have a topic.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. You won't know.
Which topic is it?
I don't know. You won't know when it's coming.
So this is our 4th show or 5th show?
5. We are
okay. 5 shows, not one topic.
Not one topic. Not a topic to the table.
Hasn't done any homework.
I did some homework on the first 2 episodes.
Well, the first 2 episodes we decided we weren't going to do that.
Right? No, wait. The news stuff I did homework for.
Yes.
When we
when we decided we were much funnier when we were talking about it for the first time.
Yes.
And not taping it.
Exactly. So
why don't you?
I did more research for the news stuff than
for this stuff.
Yeah. And also, like, I've been digging a hole for the last week, so I haven't really.
So this is where we get into the excuses.
Yeah.
So it's 5 shows, no topics from Ryan.
No.
And this has been over what, a 4-week period? We've had these shows or longer from when we started.
Yep. I only have an excuse for 1 week.
So
maybe 2 weeks. The last couple weeks have been. So
just brought up the hole digging to me.
I have no excuse for episodes 1 through 3 though.
So next week I will go and dig a ditch. And then when I come back on the show and say, I couldn't think of one thing to talk about, Ryan, it's all you.
Oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be exciting though?
You think I could go an hour without coming up with something to say?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
Oh yeah.
You think I could do it?
What? No plan? No topic? Oh,
well, we didn't really have any topics. I just have notes down.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't even talk about was the mother. So we'll save that for next week.
We can
the cups changing color, the cooking shows, reviews. Oh, there was one more subject. I guess we talked about music.
Yeah.
It's all been done before. That's all I had. Those are my notes.
Well, you had, but
freestyling. I was freestyling. You know what they call it? When you just have a note and you just have a line that says music and you can segue into a conversation.
Yeah. Well, no, I was like, no, freestyling would be like just coming in here with nothing. Just
how can you walk around and not have an idea in your head? Just saying, okay, the camera's going.
I've always,
because you know what it would be, people? Listen, it would be
pure chaos.
Ryan, serial killer. Hello, we're starting the show. We have nothing to talk about.
No.
Yes, it would.
It would be easy.
Okay, bet me a nickel.
I'll bet you a nickel.
Bet me a nickel that I would say nothing for the first 10 minutes. And then it would be all up to you. And the serial killer.
I mean, you have to answer.
Respond. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, go ahead.
You have to
just say something and let me respond. I'll respond like you. Go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna let you set me up.
This is the way the show goes. I talk for 15 minutes straight, and Ryan's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nah.
I'm teasing.
But are
you having fun?
I do think it is fun for you. I do like passing the intros off.
You do?
Yeah.
Because you don't. But if I open, you have to close it. So go ahead, close the show.
Close this. Oh, so we are closing it. In closing, thank you for watching, guys. Be sure to follow us and go to all of our things, especially Jianchor.com. Check that out. Read some really good blogs about everything from mental health, finance, culture, music, business. There is cooking things. Also, speaking of Jenny, we mentioned her earlier.
Chef Jenny Fox.
Check out the Small Business Podcast. She has an interview that is being released shortly. So be sure to check that out. And, there's smallbusinesspodcast.org and trashcanconductor.com. So go follow us on all of our different social medias. There is a description in the link that's got a ton of stuff. And we love you guys for listening.
We love you guys, and please like and subscribe.
Yes.
That's how much we love you.
Yes, that we want you to. And comment. Leave a comment.
Leave a comment because seriously,
we'll talk about it.
We won't change. We probably won't change.
No, but we do want to hear. And I even if it's bad, I'll probably think it's kind of funny. So as long as it's not mean. Don't be mean though. Don't be mean.
Please don't talk about my hair.
Yeah. Leave Rita's hair alone.